And welcome everybody to another episode of Candid Convos. And today's guest is the founding partner of RMO Lawyers. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce Scott Rahn to you. Scott, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Joe. Pleasure to be here.
Scott, I'm curious, why did you become a lawyer?
It's a great question. I've wanted to be a lawyer since I was in the 5th grade. It was either a lawyer or a jet fighter pilot, which, is pretty much the same thing in terms of danger and excitement. All jokes aside, it's just is something that I was drawn to. Didn't have lawyers in my family, didn't really know other than what I had seen, on TV and in the movies about what a lawyer did. But over the past nearly 50 years now, I think it was something that I was drawn to. I think it was a calling for me. It's something I really just love doing. I love helping people, and that's ultimately what lawyers do.
I've noticed that many people or many lawyers, when they come fresh out of law school, they tend to aim directly to big law, but not with the mentality of this is something that's going to help me grow my firm in the future. They think that's their path. And
Yes.
many of them realize at some point, like, this is not for me, because I don't know if it's overworked, burnout. I don't know what's going on in there, but a lot of people tend to run away from that. And most of the people, and I would dare to say every single law firm owner that I've met that came out of big law, they are just thrilled to be running their company when compared to when they were working with big law. I don't know if it's the rhythm or it's because you own your own business. So you're making things for yourself. You're making a profit for yourself, not necessarily for someone else. And at the same time, you're assisting someone else. You're helping in someone's life. So what do you think pushed you to that, like to take those different paths inside your law firm career?
I mean, I think the path from regional firm to big law in part was to continue to grow and elevate my career, my prospects, and give me a bigger platform on which to do the work that I was doing. And then the move from big law to opening this firm was really driven by a desire to be able to work with clients in ways that big law doesn't really countenance. So, for example, we do contingency work here where we help people for a piece of the recovery, which most big law firms aren't interested in because it's high risk and potentially no dollars. So, our model is really built around being able to service the people that we want to be able to service. We don't really have conflicts, not very often anyway, because we don't have institutional client relationships that we have to, not a significant amount of them that we have to really worry about. It's really just about being able to control your own destiny to a certain degree. And to be fair, Joe, I was very happy being in, big law. Greenberg Traurig was a great experience for me. I still have a number of friends there and a number of friends who have moved on, from that firm as well. So it's not to, a lot of people are fond of bashing big law, but I had a good experience. I learned a lot and very thankful for the mentors that I had and, the path that I was able to walk down and the ladder that I was able to climb through the partnership ranks before leaving. But, being able to be here and, make decisions about what clients we're going to take and what path we're going to take to help them and the different financial structures we're able to offer them so that we can help them is really rewarding.
I'm wondering, this is a law firm that's heavily motivated by empathy. And recently we had a situation worldwide which tested the patience and empathy levels of business owners, law firm owners, again, worldwide. How did you handle when the pandemic came, shutting everything down, working remotely or not? How was that for you? Because you already had a fully fledged law firm by then. I'm wondering, what was your process to adapt to that change? And what's your firm looking like today after that?
Sure. It's a great question. I think one, we've always been pretty nimble, creative, solution oriented. So, and we're big believers in technology. So to a certain degree, when we all had to go home, it didn't really affect us too much, except that we weren't all together in the office anymore. We basically took our laptops home, logged onto the home Wi-Fi, and we were right back on our systems, which are all cloud-based. So technologically, it wasn't too much of a kerfuffle, but from a culture standpoint, it was a bit challenging, but we had a really tight-knit culture that we were able to rely on going into the pandemic. And then we just layered in new things that helped keep us together. So we rolled out a weekly Zoom call with the entire team where we did things to elevate and celebrate. We sing happy birthday over Zoom to everybody when it's their birthday, and it's terrible. It is dissonance is deafening, but it's comical at this point and just how bad it is. But it's part of what we do. It's part of who we are. We celebrate people's anniversaries. We just celebrated Sean, my partner's anniversary was February 1st, so we just celebrated his anniversary. We play games. We do two truths and a lie. We layered in happy hours and just all kinds of little ways to continue that cultural celebration. And that's something that we've continued. So we started it, we called it 2:00 Tuesdays when we started it. But then we started adding offices in different geographic regions and different time zones where it wasn't 2:00 anymore. So we still have it. We just call it the 2T now. And we bring in, different opportunities through that to continue to keep us closer together and stronger together. And so, coming out of COVID, we had maintained that culture as a result. And when we are able to bring people together, whether it's holiday parties or our firm retreat that we do every year, we're able to rely on the relationships that get nurtured throughout the year when those events arise.
People tend to ask me, why do I like lawyers, or why do I respect them so much?
Mm.
I'd ask them to check out the last 15 minutes of this convo,
Mm.
because not everybody thinks like that. They don't. Many professionals are just looking for, how much more can I squeeze out of that client? And you don't strike me as someone that does that.
No, we do the exact opposite. It's interesting that you picked up on that, because we say on the daily that we fight against those stigmas, those bad lawyer jokes. We fight against those every day, right? And we run up against those lawyers who are just taking their client for a ride, right? And that's the last thing we do here, right? We're here to get you a result. We're here to help you move on, right? And stop the legal spend, stop being stuck in this dispute. And it's really hard. It's really frustrating when you see other lawyers doing the opposite, because there's very little you can do, and it's very frustrating for your clients when they look and they say, why is the other side not responsive? Why is the other side not doing this? Or why can't they be reasonable? Right. And sometimes the answer is their lawyer. And, we're never going to be those people.
I got one last thing for you.
Okay.
Please let our viewers know where they can find you and what you can do for them.
Oh, sure. Our website, rmolawyers.com. And we're happy to be a resource. We're happy to be a guide to counsel anything related to wills, trusts, probate administrations, or financial elder abuse. They're all the things that we do, and that's all we do. And frankly, we're pretty good at it.
Well, guys, you heard them. Now you know where to find them. Scott, thank you very much for joining us today.
Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.